How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to the art studio. Today we're going to be starting a brand new project, which is going to be to make seaweed that looks something like this here. The body is going to be made completely out of metal, and that's what I'm in charge of, and my friend Taryn is going to be making all the leaves, and these will be made out of glass. Now, if you want to see Taryn's work and all the art that she produces, feel free to check out our Instagram here. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and get started on the project. Now, Taryn was nice enough to draw me up a blueprint for the shape of the body that she wants, so we're going to go ahead and roll this out and check it out. This here is the blueprint. You can see we have a lot of different leaves that we're going to attach to this piece here. This main green line here is going to be the body that we have to bend out of some metal, and then we're going to attach little cups on the sides that's going to hold the glass to the metal body. And eventually we're gonna have to figure out how we're gonna attach this entire thing to the wall. Now we have a lot of work ahead of us, so we better get started. So we got the first part all bent into shape. We're gonna have to cut off the end there, but that's no big deal. We can do that later. Now we have to work on the second part of the body. All right, so both of our pieces are bent. Now I'm gonna cut off the ends just so it's at the proper length, and then I'll weld that joint there together. So we have our piece finally done. The ends have been cut to the proper length. It's all bent the way we need it. And then we have the connection here welded, you can see. Now I'm gonna work on capping off the ends right here and right here. Now I'm not gonna cap this side off here because we actually need to taper it all the way down to a point right at the very end. So I still have to figure out how I'm gonna do that. I haven't figured that out yet, but I'm sure we will. Okay, so we have both the ends ground to a point, just like that. Now we have to work on this section here. This isn't just gonna be a little point right at the end like that. It's actually going to taper all the way down to a point. So the way I'm gonna do that is by taking this tube here, and I'm gonna cut slices all the way down, just like we did with the caps over there. And then I'm gonna weld them all together and grind it till it's at a point, and we'll weld this to the end of that. Our piece is all welded up. I hammered it down a little bit to try to make it a bit more even. But now we're gonna take this and grind away all these welds, and hopefully that will leave us with a nice taper that we can then weld to the end of our seaweed. So we finally finished the main body of the piece. As you can see, it's welded together. We have all the curves and everything. I forgot to record me bending that, but I bent that the same exact way that I bent this whole thing. I don't know if you can see, but it's bent upwards a little bit. You see how it's kind of sticking up? That's just to give it a little more depth, because some of the leaves are gonna go almost behind it. Okay, so the next part in the project is to figure out how we're going to attach these to the metal body. These here are the leaves of the seaweed. They're made completely of glass, and we have to figure out how we're gonna attach this to the side of the metal. So the idea I came up with is to take this 1/2-inch steel pipe here, cut it to about 1.5 inches, and then we'll cut some slices on the very top. We'll taper that down, and then we'll use this 1/2-inch steel tube. We'll weld that together like that, and then we can weld this onto the actual body. And this 1/2-inch steel tube here is going to be where the glass slides into. And then we can also drill a hole into the side and put a set screw in. That way it really locks in the glass and makes sure it doesn't fall out. Now I think we have the idea, so let's get started. All right, so we have all of our cups welded and ground, so it has a bit of a taper to it. Now we're gonna lay out the template. We're gonna place the main body down on the template, and then we can figure out where we wanna place all these cups. This is how the leaves are gonna be spread out along the piece. Now what I have to do is mark on the pipe where I wanna weld each cup. Then after that, we'll get rid of all the glass and we'll start welding on the cups. All the cups are now welded and good to go. But obviously we still have a lot of cleanup that we need to do. The next step in the project is to build all 3 mounts that are going to be needed to attach this onto the wall. So the way we're going to be building these mounts is we're going to take this 5/8 steel tube, the same tube that we use for the cups, and we're going to weld that tube onto these plates here. These are going to get screwed into the wall. And then we're going to weld this 1/2-inch stainless steel rod here onto the actual stem of the seaweed, and this here will slide into the tubing on the wall. All right, the wall mounts are all welded together and ready to go. The posts are all welded on as well and good to go. Now the last thing we have left to do today is to test fit all the pieces. So this here is the first test fitting of all the glass leaves. I really like the way the leaves flow with each other and I'm excited to see how it turns out. Now I'm super happy with the progress that we made so far, but we still have a lot of work ahead of us. So if you want to see that, be sure to hit that like button. It certainly helps me out. Subscribe to keep up with my content. And as always, thanks for your time.